To those of you watching this afterwards, I've just realized that the first few minutes of watching an InstaLive is a bit weird. Like at least the first few seconds, uh, with me like looking at myself in the screen and then adjusting whatever best I can. Although it doesn't make much of a difference. But I just thought of that because now that I save it to IGTV, I tend to look at it later on, and then I just think the first few minutes, first few seconds are a bit embarrassing. I don't think there's a way to edit an Insta immediately and then put it out on IGTV, and I'm too lazy to do that for YouTube. I just put the whole thing up. But in the weeks to come, there's a good chance that I will be putting a best bits of this series as it fast approaches its end. It's not over just yet. There are a few more surprises in store before we wind things up. But I was just thinking about how this has evolved. I started this on July 23. It's now, July. No, I started this on April 23. So you lost track of time, date, month, everything. So April 23 is when I did the one with Rahul to kick this off. And now here we are on the 28th of June. So just over 2 months since, and I've learned quite a bit about how this whole thing works. But anyway. So, hi, how are you guys? Now that everyone, or quite a few of you are here, I hope you're all doing very well. Does look like we are towards the end of a lockdown, with things opening up, albeit cautiously. Hello to Vaibhav, Rishabh, Rashmi, everyone saying hi. Mr. Bal is here, Sambit Bal. If he gets decent enough internet, he is watching us from his lavish farm. But good to see you, Sambit. I'm sure you're already out by now. Vaibhav says, do ask Hemang about his innings against Australia. Yeah, it's a memorable innings, albeit in a losing cause. But we can talk about that. We definitely can. There are other things, though, in that Hemang would be pretty good at. And we should get him on board because he's here. So let's get him straight away. Impeccable timing by Mr. Badani. Just sending you... Just waiting for Hemang to connect. Bhumesh asking me my reactions of Liverpool winning the Premier League. It's good. Once every 30 years, these things happen. We must celebrate it until the next time it happens. So that's it. I have nothing more to say. If I heard someone say to me yesterday that the last time Liverpool won the league, the next season it was Arsenal. That Revant Sachin says, you interview everyone. I also wish that there is someone who interviews me. I have done a couple of these actually. But anyway, you can catch that on IGTV. A few kind people have actually taken an interest in my life, perhaps as a result of extended boredom in the lockdown in their own. So, I do these once in a while. So, yeah, feel free. Rishabh says, I'm going to miss kickoff. I know FA Cup in a bit, but I mean, I don't want to watch the first 30 minutes anyway. I think that's the worst part, worst time to watch. Hemang is here. He's saying hi again. I'm just going to send you the request again, Hemang. I sent it a couple of minutes back. It declined after a long wait. But let's try this again. There you are.
Howdy, howdy. Good
How
evening.
are you, Hemang? Good to see you. Good evening.
A little
Can you hear me
sleepy,
loud
just
and
had a
clear?
nap and I'm up.
Yeah, I know. We don't have a fixed sense of timing anymore or routines anymore. I mean, I don't. I don't know. Do you?
None at all. None at all. Sleep when you feel like, work on a bit when you feel like, watch some Netflix when you feel like. So there isn't a set pattern really.
That's
There are
it.
times
That's
I'm
it.
up till about 3, 4 in the morning.
The thing is, this was a normal life for me anyway, but for a professional sportsman, this must be a sort of surreal time. And I can see that even when you're joining me, if I'm not mistaken, you're wearing some of your sports gear. So either you're are you just finished a workout, you're getting ready for one, or you're probably going to work out while we
No,
do
I'm
this.
I'm gonna work out after I'm done with the chat. I've
And
told my son we'll work out at 6. We'll only work out about 5:30. I've just told him half an hour longer. Hang on, wait, and we shall work out at 6 o'clock.
would you believe that today is the day I also decided that I'm going to resume my working out? I did it pretty well for the first couple of months in the lockdown. Then I just couldn't take it anymore. You know how it's not in me anyway. And then I got a dog as well. So that changed life. And today I decided I'm going to go back to working out. And I don't know if it's a coincidence or if it's just that I have, from among the many people that I've had the fortune of working with, I must say that one of the fittest former cricketers that I have worked with is Hemang Badani. And I'm not saying this because he's here, but I have seen it when we played a marathon session of badminton, and you were schooling us left, right, and center.
I love the session though. Really, we had a lot of fun. I wouldn't say I was schooling her, but I was having a good time with you all. Thanks to you and your colleagues to have me over. Maybe in some time when things settle down, I'll get another chance, and probably you'll get a chance to get back at me. Maybe some revenge.
No, the best thing was that I think Hemang was the only one that was undefeated when we kept switching partners. So I'll just stay in your team. Don't want any revenge. No problem. I'm happy to play for the winning team. But speaking of the winning team, are those Manchester United jerseys that I see hanging in the background? What a shame, Hemang. Of all the fine qualities you have, now I've seen that there is a flaw.
You're just going to hurt someone right now because I know for a fact my son is watching this InstaLive chat.
Oh,
and this is his bedroom and this is all that he has saved over the years. He has caps and T-shirts and all of that.
So he's a big United fan. Oh,
huge,
well, I'm so sorry.
Huge.
I'm so sorry to little Mr. Badani, but it's okay. It's okay. Maybe as he gets older, he'll find sense. And okay, you know what? I shouldn't say any of this. As an Arsenal fan, all this cockiness is completely unwarranted in these times. Are you a football fan?
I was just going to ask you the same thing. I remember seeing your bio and it said you're a gooner. With all that going in, and you start rubbing it in for a Man U fan, I think that's not fair.
Yeah,
I can still get it if you were a Liverpool fan and you won it this year and you're giving me some stick, then it's okay. But you being a gooner,
this is
pretty much in the same boat.
This is pathetic. Yeah, this is absolutely pathetic. This is like RCB fans taunting people about IPLs. And I've just upset more people. I've just upset a whole new set of people now, including perhaps a number of RCB fans watching. But anyway, good to see you, Hemang, and good to see you doing well. Everyone okay at home, and it's been a long and draining lockdown. And we had a chat before we got onto this, and you said you were pretty much isolated, not just from the world as you were, but even from social media and media engagements. And it's nice to see you back in the groove now.
Yep, absolutely. I just taken a bit of a sabbatical. I told myself that with what's happening around, let me not be too much on screen. Let me not be seen by too many people doing this and that, cooking or working out and things like that. I just felt that probably is a little insensitive with a lot of people not having food on the table, not having enough meals to eat, not able to get back home. And here I'm working out and showing off that I'm putting on muscle and all of that. So I just felt that maybe it's just better to just shut up, mind your business. Let the world get better. But the reason I'm back on air is that the world doesn't look like getting better anytime soon. And hence I said, okay, you know what? Let me start being a bit more normal about things. And hence I've been doing a few chats of late.
Yeah, I know. And I couldn't agree more. But it's just that what to do now? We have to find a way to live in these times. And it's forced us to communicate on Instagram for everyone to watch. But if it wasn't for these things, perhaps, we'd completely just fall into oblivion. So maybe it's a good thing that we find ways of at least still, managing to chit-chat with each other. But it's given us all time for reflection, hasn't it? The lockdown perspective, reflection, think about good times and things that were enjoyable. And in my professional career, while I've worked with a number of fine people, and I count you certainly among them, I've had the privilege of getting a number of them on these Insta Lives. Very few, in fact, very, very few have actually played cricket with me. And I think that is there can be no greater gift that a former international cricketer can give a failed cricketer, which is what we all.
You're being too harsh. You're being too harsh. No, you can't call yourself a failed cricketer. You can probably say that you're an amateur cricketer, but that's what it is.
Fine. Fair, that's lovely. See, this is why I started by saying one of the nicest men in Indian cricket. I have been sledged by Rahul Dravid when I started this, right? And that was completely unexpected because I don't remember Rahul Dravid sledging anyone in his life. And here he was when I just happened to get up and there were a few cricket bats behind me. And he asked me, what are you doing with all these bats? And I just joked. I said, everyone's looking to make comebacks these days. So maybe I can also start working in same practice. And maybe at 40, I can also come back. And he straight said, I've seen you play. You can't make a comeback into any team, including sledging me to say, that when I said I was captain of the Cricinfo team, he says standards have dropped. But it didn't stop. And the next day, or a few days later, I had Sanjay
I'm mighty surprised.
You're not bad. You're not bad. Now, all these people are only talking about hearsay or maybe something they've seen in the corridor. No one has played proper competitive tennis ball cricket with me except you. As in, there are a couple of Ian O'Brien and Dirk Nannes have, but I don't count them. I'm counting you. Now, I want you to tell people, and I'm going to save this clip. Tell me, what did you make of my cricketing skills?
No, no, we are on air, we're live, so I'm going to be nice to you.
Oh God, you know what? Forget it. I built this up like Hemang is going to give the qualified opinion. He's going to say, Raunak, you're not
No,
bad.
on a serious note, very competitive. I have seen Raunak, the broadcaster, who does a professional job at work. But I thought with sport, with playing on a Sunday morning with some mates and some friends of yours, you might just take it a little easy. But no, you were at it. You were vociferous, you were loud, you were just talking about, let's do this, let's do that, let's win it. Hey, यहाँ पे ball मत डालना, ball this side, this is the shorter end, this is where he likes to hit it, ball over here. And I was like, dude, I've seen Raunak, the man with his jacket on, with his tie, very calm and very composed, having a very cool demeanor. And all of a sudden, I see a different side to yourself where you are just about trying to make sure and ensure that every ball, you are tutoring somebody. You're at it all the time. Even with the batting, you were like from the sideline screaming at the batsman saying,
So I'm
many runs to get.
I'm that irritating guy, right? Who only talks. Every cricket group has one guy who will keep yapping. And
no, but we need guys like that, Raunak. We need guys like that. That's what keeps the bus going. If everybody was docile and quiet on the cricket field and everybody was being so calm about things and not really making a big ruckus about things, then there's no joy. You have that odd guy in a cricket side, even at the highest level, you'll always have one hyper guy who's always there at it all the time. Ye karte, wo karte, let's do this, bowl here, bowl there, he's not good, let's not give away too many runs. There is so much information being passed on at times. So that's pretty much what you are. But we need guys like that. I mean, you can't have everybody being nice on the field like a Rahul being quiet or a Hemang being quiet. You do need a Harbhajan Singh or you do need someone like that, or Yuvraj to be pranksters and be alive and keep us alive.
Yeah, great. I was going to come to that next. If it does happen at the international level, then who is this man of many words and opinions? And, you know, the livelihood comes from who? And you mentioned Harbhajan and Yuvraj. And I can actually see that there are a couple of people who played with us that day. There's Pareen, who says that, Hemang, sir, you were amazing on that morning. And there's Sameer as well, who's played with us. I don't know if he was there that day, but he's having a laugh. But
I can see Sameer. Is that the Sam from Star Sports?
Yes, it is the Sam from...
Hi, Sam. What's up?
He's played with us on that ground as well.
Okay. I remember there was Lodha was there. Lodha was there that morning.
Lodha was there. He bowls nice sort of bowls with the new ball. Quite a talented player.
I remember a left-hander. I think he was batting against me with some vengeance. Because if I remember correctly, in the first innings I did get him out. And our teammates kept telling me that this guy's actually very good. And I mean, for some reason, I was able to get him out the first time around. And then I was bored just talking to myself, what's the big fuss about? So I didn't bring it out, but I was just like, what's the big fuss about? But he actually smashed us the second time around. And that's when I realized this guy knows his cricket, he knows the ground. I mean, there's a certain way that you have to play according to the situation and the demands of that ground. And I mean, obviously you know the ground and I do know it because I played there once. But the viewers may not know this. The straights were long, the sides were very, very small.
Very short.
And he knew exactly how to play. So he was waiting for the shorter ball. Every time the ball was slightly short, slightly straighter into his body, 6. Mid-wicket 6. Square leg 6. I was like, dude, this guy knows what he's doing. I mean, he exactly knows what he's waiting for.
Yeah, and he is one of our sort of star cricketers at that ground. And, you know, it's funny you say that because at all levels of cricket, it's almost the same rules that apply, right? You play at the same place more and more. You get some form of home advantage or experience. And the thing is, the only thing most of us lack is class, right? Everything else is there. We have talent, we have will, we have desire, but we don't have any class. Whereas when you came about, you could see the first time that we've seen an elegant drive all along the ground, which in tennis ball cricket gives you very few returns. So like you rightly said.
Totally agree with that.
We were looking at that and saying, wow, what a waste that this cricket is being played at a useless ground where if you play it along the ground, it'll bobble, hit a stone and stop. But if you
in all honesty, I wasn't even sure if I'll get bat to ball because I was playing cricket after many, many years. So I didn't want to make a fool of myself by getting on the first two balls. So all I tried doing was to show the entire face of the bat, show the vertical bat to the ball,
The basics.
get a couple of them in the middle, get a feel of the ball, and then you feel like, okay, I at least will not make a mess of myself and make a mockery of myself. That's exactly where I was. I'm being very honest.
Brilliant. Brilliant. You know, this is a very rare thing because I've worked with a lot of ex-Indian cricketers, and most of them are very relieved that they would never have to hold a bat or a ball again, right? I mean, by and large, they're very satisfied that they've played the cricket they need to. And unless it's a fancy retired cricketers league with plenty of money, no, they're not going to they're not just going to roll their arm over for a fun game of roadside cricket or gully cricket. You're an exception to that. So I don't know, is it in your experience, do most cricketers, at least most Indian cricketers, have this thing that, once they're done, they're done. They never want to show up on a game of amateur cricket?
The thing what happens is, I'll be upfront with this, that once you played the game, you played there for many, many years. Once you've been awake at about 4, 5 in the morning for 20, 25 years, you've been working 8, 10 hours a day. You're handling that pressure. You're handling, the body's taking so much of heat all the time. You at a point are actually fatigued and tired of the game. You actually feel like, you know what, I do not want to play the sport. And that's also what happened to me at one stage where I said, I actually was very fit when I retired. I was probably fitter than what I was some time back. But I said, you know what, I was playing at Vidarbha. I was traveling 4 months a year, 5 months a year. I didn't see any returns rather than just having something in my bank balance. I had played enough for more years. I was never going to play for India again. I was always looked at a good player who played for India, was never going to make a mark again. Be it even the IPL. I wasn't even looking at the IPL, or I wasn't even being picked for the IPL. So I said, what am I looking at playing at 36 now? And that, I mean, you could say that some people love playing the game and you can carry on. Nothing wrong with that. But I just felt that I've already been away from home for a very long time. I haven't spent much time with my son. I said, you know what, 4, 5 months here is a bit too much. And that's when I stopped the game. And it's something which a lot of cricketers will think about, in the sense that a lot of cricketers actually, at one time, when they say enough is more to do with the mind than the body. The body will still take it. The body knows how to manage with time and age, but your mind will start playing funny businesses in your head, saying that I'm done with it. So that's when I stopped, and that's when I started playing shuttle. I mean, that's something which has kept me going.
Yeah, you know, and the thing is that I guess it's so personal. Look, cricket means different things to play those that have played it, and for some it's, you know, never want to play again. For some it's, you know, I don't mind a swing. What's the worst? Even if I look silly, it's okay. That sort of attitude. But what a lot of cricketers don't get, former cricketers don't get, is what it means to those that you play with, right? If you played with an international cricketer, an ex-international cricketer, that is a memory for a lifetime for all of us. And we discussed that.
My other worry with turning up to the ground to the venue was, it was early. I hadn't woken up that early in a while. with broadcasting, you're working late. Yeah, you're always working late. So I was more worried about the fact that I had to wake up, set an alarm and wake up at a time and make sure that I was on time.
And we were going to go to the local club that I had next close by and change and freshen up and then go straight to studio. So you actually came at 7 a.m. with your jacket on a hanger, you know.
Correct.
So that is another level of commitment, I'd say. And it's a bit you went out of your way to join us. You know, at just me asking, obviously you said, yeah, you know, I don't mind if you were here for a few days. There wasn't much to do, but like I said, it meant the world to us. So I must thank you on behalf of all of them one more time, and hopefully you can inspire some of my other former cricket friends to actually do that. Because Ajit Agarkar will. There's a I don't know what is likelier to happen. I may come up with a vaccine to COVID sitting in my room here. There's a better chance to that than Ajit Agarkar ever playing cricket with me competitively. So that won't happen. Sanjay Manjrekar has this typical thing that tennis ball ne khelne ka, wo ball doesn't go far only, doesn't travel. So he's got that thing. Perhaps it was his game that he's worried about.
He was a purist.
Yeah, he's a purist. So yeah, so thank you very much for that. And speaking of shuttling, you're a big badminton guy. I know a lot of people, a lot of cricketers turn to golf. That's the post-playing sort of interest. But you took to badminton, which is such a demanding sport, and it's so much fun.
For me, I'll tell you, for me, the thing with sport is it has to be something very runaround. And I always found golf a little laid back, too cool for my liking. There was no adrenaline rush when you played golf. It was way too sophisticated, in the sense you're wearing a nice t-shirt and a nice trouser. You've got a nice hat on. You might put on your Oakleys. swing, go on the nice, beautiful golf course. It didn't feel like sport to me. It felt more like leisure. Felt more
Yes.
like you're in an elitist place where you're chilling with a few friends. But for me, sport was about sweating, about running around, the grit and the grime, the competitiveness. I'm sure golf has that as well, because I know for a fact Murli Karthik, a dear mate of mine, keeps talking about it all the time. He and
Yeah,
even Badri,
that's all he talks
they
about.
all
Yeah.
speak only golf. I'm like, golf is this, golf is that, and this is how you play the game, these the nuances of the game. And I am not interested. I don't want to listen to it. I don't have any of it. But they go on. So, but I'm not undermining the sport. For me, sport had to be where you're running around, you are actually doing something physically. And hence I took up shuttle. Did play a bit of it in my younger days, but then professional sport of cricket took my time away from playing shuttle. But now, since I have the time, why not? I'm back at it.
Are you still playing? I mean, have your local clubs opened up, or can you play in your
No,
building?
unfortunately, no.
No?
Unfortunately, nothing at all. We are in fact, as we speak, we are in complete lockdown in Chennai. So you can't even step out of the house.
Yeah, all right. So, and it's come back, hasn't it? So it's getting complicated again. So I hope anyway things find themselves, find a way to take care of themselves. I've got more friends of mine that actually played with us that day, saying, Yash saying, Hemang, we love you, and all in caps. We got to play with you, against you. It was a big deal. So that's the kind of affection we take. This is like it's like a milestone in our lives. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about cricket. At some point now, we feel our sport is about to resume, and the last few days or last week or so has been very interesting. I can see social media polarized on the resumption of sport, while the Premier League is already resumed, and cricket is likely to resume with Pakistan leaving for England today. You've got the England West Indies series before that, and then Novak Djokovic hosted that tennis tournament and players got infected.
Oh boy!
So all of a sudden, the spotlights come again. Should you play or should you just wait? Is sport important? Or is sports so necessary, or just stop? So I don't know where you stand on it. I'm honestly desperate for sport to just come back, because we have to find a way to get back to normal. But I can understand the argument that this could be deemed as irresponsible. Where do you stand on it?
See, the way I see things is that at some point in time, sport has to resume. And sport has been a big part of everyone's lives. We are tuned to watch some sport or the other, be it shuttle, be it cricket, be it basketball, be it football, be it whatever. We as humans are used to seeing some sportive action, live action all the time. So in that sense, it's good to resume, because in the times that we are going through right now, where everyone is in a way depressed, sitting at home, doing nothing, at least they have something to watch. Like for instance, my son wakes up and watches the football games, and he feels nice about it. He has something to chat about. He feels that he's seen a Man U game. He comes back the other day and he's a bit disappointed because Liverpool goes on to win the championship. The day Bundesliga started, which was the first.
Missing. Yeah, these are
Correct.
the emotions we've missed.
And if he can be feeling that, he emotes the same feelings of the entire nation, or for that matter, the entire world. We all love our sport. So in that sense, I would say sporting action is good, but we also have to bear in mind that there is something which is still around, which is the virus, which is still very much active, especially in our country. We've got enough and more cases as we speak. Numbers skyrocketing.
Still on the rise.
On the rise. Can we actually make sure that we have sportive action in India without having any issues? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. Can any sporting body, be it cricket, be it tennis, be it soccer, whatever sporting body it may be, can they actually make sure that once the sportive action starts off, can they make sure that the players don't get infected? Because also, not just the players, there are so many more people who are involved with the sportive action.
Exactly.
Sporting action. You've got so many more people who are a part of the entire. I think we just lost ourselves a bit. Are we back?
Yeah. I've just got you. I've got you back now. Yeah, carry on. So many people are connected.
So there are so many people connected with sponsors, vendors, producers, groundsmen, markers. I mean, like the list is endless. Your hotel staff, you're staying at hotels. Can you quarantine yourself into a hotel and just be there? And then likewise, vis-a-vis another side being quarantined into one more hotel, and they don't have any other contact. The hotel staff do not go home. They stay at the hotel itself so that they don't get exposed and bring in any infection from outside, and then hence passing it on to the players at the hotel. So there are so many variables to that. My only thing is, a country of 130 crore people, can we handle that? Are we equipped
Right.
enough to handle that?
Okay, I think that's the question on everyone's mind. And what happens, I guess one of the things is there's no certainty as to whenever the sport resumes, whether it will resume in a foolproof environment. So I guess, like you said, it's all going to be about how things happen, when they actually happen, and how we react to it. But the other thing I do want to ask you is, I was watching the football the minute it came back, and you could see an element, maybe for some teams, you could see an element of rustiness, or how momentum had halted them when the lockdown did come into effect. But for some other teams, it looked like they picked up from exactly where they left off. I'm very curious to see how cricket would resume. Would cricketers take plenty of time to actually get back to to full fitness, or is it these 4-5 weeks where a lot of teams are already training? The Indian team obviously isn't, but a lot of teams have already gone to training. Do you reckon the minute we see an international game, we'll also see quality of an international level?
See, my only concern with this is that how much time do we have before we start resumption of play?
Yeah,
You, as players, I'm pretty sure that all these guys who are playing for India or knocking at the doors are very professional enough to keep working hard even now physically. They must be doing something or the other. They must be finding their way to their local gyms or something and keeping fit, running around the ground and around the
yeah.
park. But my
Yeah,
bet
most
is
of
cricket
most of
isn't.
today's cricketers have gyms in their apartments, don't they, or in their living
Yeah,
rooms? So
fair enough.
there's
Fair
that.
enough. So you could say that too. But the point I'm making is, at least I do
Yeah,
understand and I believe that they are professional enough to be doing that as it is, even in these
sure.
tough times. But cricket, unfortunately, isn't just about that. It's a skill sport. You still have to bat, you have to bowl, you have to field. Your biomechanism has to come back again. I'll just give you an example. Let's say, for instance, in an off season, you take off about 2-3 months. You're basically still playing. In fact, and even in the off season, you aren't just working out physically in the sense that you're going to the gym or running around. You also are honing your cricket skills, which isn't happening right now because they are unable to go to the ground. Now,
Yeah,
in an off season, when I'm even batting in the nets and working on a certain few aspects of my game, the minute I get back into playing mode and playing a match, it takes everyone a game or two to get back to that rhythm, to get back to your feet moving, your ball, you're seeing the ball coming onto you, batting for 4 hours, 5 hours. In the nets, you're probably batting for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, half an hour. You're not going to have that. At least we could not have it then. I mean, now with professional players, they get their own bowlers, they pay them and they get them over. We couldn't afford all that then. So
yeah,
probably they are slightly more better off than what we were. But in our times, we had to ask our friends who were actually bowling to us saying, why did you bowl 5 more minutes extra, a couple of minutes
sure.
extra? We had to beg and plead and do things like that. But at most, you would bat for half an hour.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, when you're playing into a 3-day game or a 4-day game, your body is not used to that much amount of batting. You might have trained hard, but there is a certain training that goes in with just batting long. Your body mechanism is different. Your usage of your hands, your legs, your back, vis-a-vis to using them while lifting weights or running around is a lot different. And
Yeah.
that again takes a few days to get ready. So I would imagine that if they have enough time in the nets, enough time to play a few practice games, spend time with each other, then you might be okay. But if there's not enough time, you still might be a little rusty.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have to think of what skill sets will take the longest to get back to full swing, I would think that the cricket itself would be right up there. But maybe somewhere close to that would also be broadcasters. And that's, of course, what keeps you and me going. So I'm just trying to think of whether we'll pick up exactly from where we left off in what has been largely an absence of
This is
cricket and therefore
practice
an
right
absence
now.
of practice.
This
That
is in
I was
this
just
is in
going
a
to
way
say.
keeping us going.
Yeah. Maybe what I'll do is, I know Akash does this very often, doesn't he? Right? He just videos that are being sent to him of amateur cricket. He actually gives them a little bit of commentary and sends it back. So Yash, who's of course who's one of the more vociferous players, even more than me, when at our ground, and he's saying, "Why don't you come to our ground? We'll bowl at them for free." He's talking about the cricketers needing bowlers to bowl at them. But yeah. But Hemang will testify that that ground does have international status now. Now that Hemang has played there. But anyway, back to the conversation I was coming to. Broadcasters, whether it'll be just as easy for us to go back into it. And for a lot of our viewers, some of you already know, Hemang is one of the most versatile language speakers there are around. Fluent in English, Hindi, Gujarati, Tamil. Have I missed anything out?
Yeah, I think we can put a full stop there.
Yeah. Yeah, but there are people that can speak those languages. Of course, you must tell us. There is someone who just put a comment a little while back saying a lot of us are younger viewers. Why don't you tell us a little more about Hemang earlier on that we may not know. So I'm not insinuating that Hemang is old, or I am, but
No, well, you did that already, didn't you?
sorry. Yeah. This is payback. This is payback for you saying whatever you had to about my cricket. But anyway, let's go
I
back
was
to
being
it. So
polite and nice.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I know this is as nice as anyone's been to me. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I think the lockdown's getting to me. But let's go back to it. Fluent in languages and also fluent to commentate in those languages. There are those that can speak it, casually, but you've actually done commentary in all these languages as well.
Well, I think it's more to do with the fact that I speak Gujarati at home. I live in Tamil Nadu, so Tamil being my second language. Hindi was taught at school, and I spoke quite a bit of it with my mates when I played for India. Even when we traveled to, let's say, the western parts of India,
Yeah.
English was again something that I picked up at school. So it's just something that came to me naturally. I didn't really have to make an effort. Maybe to some extent, if I had to be really honest, I wasn't sure with Tamil commentary. Will I be able to do Tamil commentary? It was even see the bit that you have to understand is that with English and Hindi, there was already a platform set, and you knew exactly how the commentary
Yeah.
was being done. So you could kind of emulate that, or at least copy paste, or understand what had to be done. But with Tamil commentary, we were the pioneers. We were the first ones to start off with Tamil commentary. So to start with, was a little skeptical to say that should I do it? Should I get into it? Will I make a fool of myself? Or will there be people who would want to listen to Tamil commentary? But in 5 years' time, the way things have gone from the time we started in 2015, I think was when we did for the first time, which was World Cup in Australia. Since
Yeah.
then, it's just been an uprise. I honestly never felt or thought that it would take off so much. But yes, to begin with, I was a little unsure with Tamil commentary. Will I make a fool of myself, or will I be able to get it and handle myself? But here I am. People like me, so I'm assuming they like my commentary too.
I'm very curious about Tamil commentary and how it's sort of evolving. And I often have this conversation with those that do Hindi commentary as well. There was always this thing that English commentary, which is what we all grew up listening to, because that was the language that commanded the sport, still does on a global scale. And you always felt that what you need to be for what makes for good commentary is a sense of objectivity, right? Then there comes Hindi commentary, where it's okay to be a little patriotic, so to speak, right? And then there's regional commentary, which is one thing when you're covering India, but say when you're covering CSK in the IPL, where the following is so passionate. So I really want to have this chat, and I can only have it with you, whether there's a different, I wouldn't say directive, but whether there are different priorities when you commentate in regional languages. Is it okay, and is it in fact better? Are you encouraged to be a little more patriotic? I wouldn't say jingoistic, but certainly patriotic towards the theme that you're calling.
If I had to tell you that we've never had any directive from the company as such, for that matter. When I worked with Sony,
I'm just saying if it's something that you think of yourself,
but no, I unfortunately have been at times singled out by a lot of CSK fans, saying that I'm not too CSK patriotic, too much towards CSK, or for that matter, Team India. Because the way I see things is that my heart does lie with India always, no matter what happens on the field. But I also have to understand that I'm a broadcaster right now. I really can't be taking sides and being a little more biased towards side A versus side B. Yes, when I'm off air, I'm keenly watching and I'm hoping that a Rohit Sharma or a Virat gets 100 and does well for us, and things like that. But when I'm on air, I put on a hat where I have to be objective. I have to just watch the ball and comment on the ball and keep aside my likes and dislikes. I really don't think it's fair for a good broadcaster to be leaning towards a certain side. It's very, very normal for any human being to like somebody. For that matter, like a certain side. It's absolutely normal. Like for that matter, if you had to do a football game, your heart will be with Arsenal.
Sure.
You being a Gona fan, you are going to be skewed in the head with hoping that Arsenal wins the game. But you can't commentate on the lines where you're only praising Arsenal all the time and not the other side. You have to have that balance where you are maintaining that, yes, I love India, or for that matter, let's say CSK or Mumbai Indians or whatever side that plays the IPL. But when I am on air, when I have the mic in my hand, unfortunately, that's something which you have to keep aside. Watch the game. As you would watch the ball, play ball in the match, in the cricket field. Watch the ball, commentate, and be right there.
Brilliant. Taking a couple of comments now. Arun Raghavan says, Raunak, Hemang is called Boundary Badani over here in Tamil Nadu because people like the way he says it rhymingly. Can you say it for me? I don't watch a lot of Tamil commentary, but what is,
Yeah,
have you heard
it's
that
something
before?
which has happened randomly, Raunak. It happened about 2-3 years back where I was saying this off air, and there's this fellow commentator of mine, a good mate also now, called
Yeah.
RJ Balaji. He said it sounds really good. He basically came from the radio background.
Hmm.
And he comes across and tells me that, hey, Hemang, this sounds really good. I said, what are you kidding me or what? I was just messing around off air with you guys. He says, no, I'm coming in from a
Yeah.
background where I speak so much on the radio and I know what might sound good and what will not sound good. And
Hmm.
he actually made me say it on air. And since then, I mean, there are times when people have forgotten my name is Hemang Badani. In a lot of towns down south, they've called me Boundary Badani. I'm like,
Hmm.
what's this new thing of Boundary Badani? But my name is Hemang. But that's how, I mean, that's how much it's reached out to the common man.
All right. This is
Well,
something that's come. Yeah, carry on, please.
and since you've asked me, I will. You might not have heard it. I might as well let you have a
Please
taste
do.
of it. Boundary, 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 boundary.
Which I can see it. I can see it getting catchy and picking up in
Yeah, so it's
people's
just
minds.
very colloquial. It's a very
Yeah.
colloquial slang that we use down south, and that's what resonates with the common man down south.
Yeah.
So hence,
Yeah.
it's become quite a rage.
I know. We used to do even out here. When you play like say our Maidan cricket here, there's this peculiar way of saying it. So we used to tend to go like boundary, boundary, boundary. Like we used to say that from the
Yeah,
dressing room and
something
almost
like that.
convince the umpire because we don't have demarcated boundaries, right? It was like beyond a
True, true,
certain
true.
tree, beyond a certain dog.
It's more
Yeah.
like putting some pressure on the umpire.
Putting the pressure. So you say, okay, now boundary, 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 and then I can totally see that going, influencing the ump. But yeah, I get it. So that's pretty cool. This is a good one from Ravdeep. This goes back, nearly 2 decades. Lakshman said this about the amazing partnership between Dravid and him, in 2001. The substitutes came into the field without even asking us for drinks, without us even asking for drinks. That was Nehra, Badani, Sarandeep. And on their way back to the dressing room, that would get under the Australian skins. Now, tell us more about it. Do you have a memory from
So
that?
I do remember. I don't remember much about me actually saying something on the way back after helping our
It's very
teammates.
unlike you.
But
Yeah,
I do remember. No, I remember one thing very clearly was that there was a chance that Stephen Waugh was given by Sourav at backward short leg, and unfortunately, at the very same time, Mongia gets hit on the nose and Rahul Dravid gets to keep, and I come in as a substitute. And Saurav knew my background a bit, and he knew that one, I could speak English, and he also knew that in domestic cricket I was somebody who could get under the batsman's skin at times. So Saurav gave me the freedom and said, "I want you to go hard at Stephen Waugh." This was the second innings when we kind of had the game in our hand. He said, say what you want to say. I'm okay with it. I'm not going to hold you for saying something. And I was just thinking, and I told Saurav, I said, Dada, I have not even made my test debut. I'm just a goddamn newcomer. I may have played this test match if Lakshman was unfit, but I still haven't played. I haven't played a game yet. And this man is Stephen Waugh, the captain of the invincible Australian side, and you want me to sledge him. He says, yeah, you can't tell him anything about. Say what you feel like saying. I have no problem. So then I go and Saurav moves away from backward short leg and he puts me there. And then I start saying a few things to Stephen Waugh and start talking about them losing finally, talking about they can't really get past India again. India has always been a big problem for them to win at India. And a few little words which I can't mention on that right now.
Yeah, sure,
so,
sure.
Did
it trigger a reaction? Did it trigger a reaction?
No, he kind of gave me he was staring at me a couple of times. He was thinking, he probably didn't know who I was because I just made my debut that year. I'd played some one-day cricket. I hardly had played anything against Australia. I do go on to play with them after that in the one-day series, but I hadn't played much against them. So he probably wouldn't have even known who this kid is. And he must have been wondering as to what the hell is he talking? What's wrong with him? And he just, Steve was somebody whom I felt that probably didn't say much, but his body language said a lot. And his body language did seem like he didn't enjoy what I was giving and what I was saying to him.
And you think that Stephen Waugh, go on.
And as things would go, he plays towards the leg side, ball jumps, takes off the glove, and I take a diving catch in my left, and I get Stephen Waugh caught. And I'm like, dude, what is happening here?
I think he would remember you after that. I'm quite certain, even before you got the runs in the one-day series that followed. But
no, he gave it back to me a little bit in the one-day series.
Yeah.
He was being himself, but I was expecting it, so it wasn't a surprise.
You know, you come to think of it, Stephen was obviously renowned as perhaps one of the fiercest competitors the game has seen, right? One of the toughest mentally that most cricketers, most opposition players talk about.
I think we're okay now.
Talk about the respect that they have for Steve Waugh. And here is Sourav Ganguly already after pissing Steve Waugh off in the series in prior, tells the debutant, or rather the uncapped player, to go and have a go at him. You almost think that it wasn't by chance, it was by design, that he wanted you to be the one to try and get under Steve Waugh's skin. And well, if you are to say it worked, but that's a great story. Perhaps you were picked because of the inexperience or because of the lack of test caps to go and have a crack and try and break Steve Waugh mentally a little bit. And perhaps that's something not too many people do.
I think the deal breaker was more to do with me fluent with the language, and more to do with me having a reputation of being quite noisy on the field at times.
Yeah. Fair enough. There weren't too many.
So there are two sides to Hemang Badani. The Hemang Badani that you get to see now is a lot more calmer and relaxed, a little more easygoing. But if you ask a lot of players who played with me when they did, they would tell you very clearly that you didn't want to mess with him.
I'm just going to say exactly why. Why does Sourav have this? You just mentioned he knew that I was one of those that could get under the batsman's skins in domestic cricket. So I would love to know more of this side. Were you one of those that really gave it good when you played on the field? Because I can't imagine you like that right now.
No, absolutely. I was quite a bit like that as a player, as a captain. When I captained, I was quite harsh and hard. Yes, once I've retired, I've just mellowed down considerably to what I was earlier.
Oh yeah.
But I was seen as an angry young man, somebody who played cricket very passionately, and I still feel the same way. But it doesn't seem that way anymore because I'm a little cool and relaxed now. But playing days, yes, I was at players all the time, be it my side players. If I found somebody not coming to the ball, not rushing to the ball, and being a little laid back or a little lazy, even if I wasn't the captain, I would give him a piece of my mind. I would like, what are you here for? Are you here for just fun or what? You're playing professional sports, so come on, fuck up, get up. And in between that or whatever, little bit in the added masala, whatever. But even against the oppositions, there have been times when I've been extremely vocal about what I wanted there, what I felt about that person. And primarily for me, it was all a question of just making sure we won the match, and that was it. Because I've made a lot of friends off the field. And the same guys who are on the field, when they are on the field, I would be loud. I would be in their faces and say nasty things that they probably didn't like. But off the field, I could get along well with them. I was just easy. I was just like, I could sit with them, chit chat with them, sit with them for a meal or a drink, and we were fine. But come the next day when I put my colors on or my whites on, I had an alternate personality. I changed.
And now I can think that when you were saying what you were about me and what I was like when we played that game of cricket, I almost now see it as a compliment. So I'm glad that I was one of those that used to sort of mouth off and expect high standards of everybody else. But anyways, thank you, Hemang. Now I feel better about myself.
Yeah, I think it's only fair. As I said, we need people like that. We need some people like that to keep the game alive. Otherwise, it gets boring.
Trust me. I mean, and sometimes when we play our type of cricket, you know that you actually know there are some people that are sleeping when they're fielding. So if we don't scream, they're not even going to be awake, and they won't put in that effort that you expect, that you're putting in.
Absolutely. So I know for a fact if 10 people are doing their job and one of them is just laid back and lazy, it just makes us look like fools. So that's when
it's annoying, isn't it?
I wake them up and I said, dude, not happening at all.
That's it. For all of those that are watching from our weekly cricket sessions, you totally get now why we do what we do. It's being endorsed by Hemang Badani. So don't you dare accuse us of, yapping too much going forward. Anyway, this has been great fun. And now we get to the fun part of it.
Wasn't this scripted already? You already called me and told me to say the same thing.
Hemang. You're a man of integrity. You're a man of honesty. Let's not.
I had to
Let's
pull your
not.
leg.
Good man. That's better. And I will edit this conveniently and put it on my cricket group once this is done. But Hemang, it is now time for a rapid fire that I script in, which is considerably fun. So you know how the rules are. Say the first thing that comes to your mind, quick and rapid and fiery, and which you already are. So let me. I request the other Hemang Badani to kindly answer this one, the one that could give good, and the alternate personality that's gone away after a time. And please bring him for this. Are you ready?
Sunday, let's go for it.
All right, let's go for it. Hemang, if you weren't a cricketer, what do you think you would have been?
First man,
All right. If you had to pick one cricketer to spend the lockdown with, who do you pick?
Rahul Dravid.
One food item you cannot get enough of.
Idli sambar, down south. I love it. And if I can add my coffee, South Indian coffee.
Brilliant. Best film or web series you've seen of late?
Best film, Everu, a Telugu movie. Lovely. And series I quite liked something on Netflix called The White Line.
All right. Best captain you played under, international or otherwise?
Sourav Ganguly.
Okay. Biggest influence on your cricket career?
My dad.
Okay.
I thought for him I want to play the game.
Wonderful. Smartest cricketing brain according to you?
Anil Kumble. Extremely smart. I thought somebody, if Sourav wasn't the captain then, Anil was another man for the job. He knew exactly what he was doing.
And we saw that almost instantly when he did take the reins for that short period of time, didn't he?
Yep, absolutely. Very sharp mind.
Who has the best sense of humor in cricket according to you?
Well, I quite like Bajji's sense of humor. Yuvi also was quite witty. We had a couple of them down south. There was a guy called Sharat, a prolific domestic player. Not many would know of him, but he had a great sense of humor. Very colloquial, very much in Tamil, but extremely funny.
Brilliant. One holiday destination you can keep visiting again and again.
There are too many. I mean, London. London is my number one spot. But there are too many places. I love travel.
Brilliant. One thing Tamil commentary taught you that you didn't expect.
That I could speak so well in Tamil, first of all.
Toughest bowler you ever faced?
Muthiya Muralidharan. Nightmares, even now.
One bowler that you enjoyed facing?
For some reason, I liked the faster bowlers. I didn't have any issue with playing Megra or Bretley or anyone for that matter.
Sure.
It was more the case where I struggled with Murli. So yeah, Brett with a very clean action was somebody whom I enjoyed.
All right. One present day batsman that you would have loved to bat alongside?
Present day batsman, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, any one of them. Both of them are outstanding cricketers.
All right. I can predict this one, but maybe you'll give me another answer.
I can give you a lot of names actually. I can go to A.B. de Villiers. I can go to Chris Gayle. I want to pick Chris Gayle's mind when he's on the field. What's he thinking? I mean, to be the way he is and keep scoring those runs and bat the way he does. Because all the time, the feeling that you get from outside is that he's so calm and easy and as if he's having a rum and coke and chilling on the beach in Jamaica and he's still playing cricket. So I just would like to imagine what must be the scenario when he's on the field. When he's batting.
Brilliant. Sure. I think I can predict this one, but let's see if you give me a different answer. One innings you remember most fondly?
You'll be surprised. It's probably the Mumbai 100 that I got against Mumbai. 162 versus Mumbai at Wankhede. It was an innings which actually made my career and actually made me believe that I was somebody who could play at the highest level.
Brilliant. These are the kind of sort of unexpected answers that I tend to get out. So I'm glad.
What were you thinking of? You might have thought of the 100 against
the Australian. Precisely. But I actually wanted there to be a different answer. Exactly.
No, that's what I kind of had self-belief by then. I knew that I could play at this level, but that 100 against Mumbai actually made me believe that yes, maybe I have it in me to play the high level.
Fantastic. One sportsman from another sport that you would love to meet someday?
Roger Federer, tennis.
If you had to own one sports team in the world, which one would it be?
Manchester United, just for my fun.
All right. Time to pick. Mumbai or Chennai, the better city to live in?
To live in Chennai, work-wise, Mumbai.
All right.
I'm a little laid back. I prefer the laid back surroundings of Chennai. That's the only reason.
If I tweak that to
Mumbai, a little bit of a bustle.
Sure. If I tweak that to Ahmedabad or Chennai?
Still Chennai.
All right. Brilliant.
Pretty much.
Dhoni or Kohli, the better captain?
Tough one, to be honest. I'll say Kohli. Let's go with Kohli.
Wow, that's a different
really
answer.
Tough. Really tough.
Yeah. Got it.
I like the different flavor that he brings in. We've seen Dhoni, the calm, composed, the captain.
Sure.
Kohli, probably somebody a lot different, a little more of the sort of Ganguly mold. And as I also mentioned earlier, that I'm somebody who likes a little more passion on the field. I like a little more
Sure.
being vocal, a bit more animated, which I get to see with.
All right, brilliant.
But again, as I said,
Twitter or
very tough.
Instagram?
Both brilliant captains. Twitter.
All right,
Twitter. I'm more a Twitter person.
All right. Cricket or badminton?
Right now, Baddy, without a doubt. Given a choice, I'll play Baddy anytime.
Vidarbha or Tamil Nadu?
Tamil Nadu. Heart is in Tamil Nadu, but Vidarbha gave me enough and more opportunities. Loved playing there, loved grooming a few players. But yes, Tamil Nadu is what I am today.
All right. Chennai Super Kings or Chennai Superstars?
Loved playing for the Chennai Superstars. It was a series that we started off with the ICL, and I think that was a path-breaking tournament. But yes, right now, if you ask me, Chennai Super Kings, without a doubt. I think it's way beyond a brand. The kind of cricket they play, it's brilliant.
All right. And lastly, beer or whiskey?
With age now, I think I would say whiskey. Earlier, I would have said beer, but now, yes, I'm more a whiskey man.
Fantastic. First thing that comes to mind when I say the IPL?
First thing, IPL, it's a festival. It's a carnival. Okay. Carnival will be the first word.
The ICL?
Path-breaking tournament.
4-day tests?
No.
MS
Dhoni.
The
5-day. I like the ball turning and bouncing, and that brings a bit more dimension to the sport.
Sure. MS Dhoni.
Captain Cool, literally.
Sachin Tendulkar.
Genius.
Sourav Ganguly.
Great leader.
Stats and data in cricket.
Overrated.
Cricinfo.
Love it. Love what you guys bring to the table. It's a lot different than what we do at Star. Always enjoyed working with you all, and this is not cliche. It's just that you all have been very conscious about that fact that we aren't going to be too skewed towards a side or India. You all have maintained being neutral, which I really enjoy, and I really I'm happy that you all have maintained that, because it's tough for any brand or company in India with the amount of cricket which is so much towards India centric, for you all to be able to maintain that balance, which you all have done really well so far.
Brilliant. And lastly, me.
Well, I've had great. I mean, when I first met you, I wasn't sure what to expect. But as time has gone by, I would say that the first thing that comes to my mind is warm. You're a very warm person, a very generous person. You always have a smile on your face. You always are making sure that whoever be your guest, you are making sure that that person is comfortable, ready, and even off the times that we've been on air, we've had some great conversations. We were able to go out and have a couple of beers. We were able to play cricket together. We were able to play shuttle together. So there's a lot much more to Raunak Kapoor, the broadcaster, is what I would say.
Wonderful. That is as good an answer as I could have ever expected. And I can't possibly think of a higher note to end this on. Hemang Badani, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this.
Absolutely. I mean, I never, in fact, you'll be surprised I've never done live chats all this while. There've been 3 back-to-back in the last 3 days. Yeah. But I've never gone live in the past. I think probably I should do that more often, because these chats are quite interesting and quite innovative. Yeah. And it's something where you get to speak a lot more easily than when you're on air with your
you tend to explore territory. Yeah, you can explore territory that you may not otherwise in the broadcaster's chair or the commentator's chair.
Absolutely.
So this has been great.
There's no restriction here. You can speak what you want to speak. With broadcasting, you are at times on a timetable or a certain directives that you can do, you can't do, and then it becomes probably a little at times restrictive. But this is cool. This is easy.
Hemang, thanks so much. Let's look forward to catching up again soon, either here or on the ground. But thanks so much, and enjoy your session of working out now, which is due as soon as we cut this. Thank you so much, Hemang.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Take care.
Take care. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Right, that was brilliant. Hemang Badani in fine form and very honest and very fun to talk to. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Full chat will be out on IGTV as well as YouTube. The next InstaLive will be Tuesday with Sakil and Mushtaq. So do join us then. That should be fun too. And yes, keep safe, and hopefully we'll get closer to the resumption of cricket sooner rather than later. Take care. See you guys soon. Bye bye.